What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. In today's video, I'm probably going to give you the most alpha tip that nobody wants to share with you. I only know this because I'm in a trading group full of whales with my Forex gang from way back when. So I know secret tips. And this really is such an alpha video that you want to stick around to the end. And I'm not just saying that. You're going to understand why I buy bottoms and how I've made big 100x's on leverage longs and shorts and predicting tops and bottoms. So what is global M2 liquidity? Ultimately, it is when the money printers are on. So what does that mean, CS? What exactly is that? Ultimately, there is a lot of cash in the economy, in the global world, internationally, in the global economy. There's a lot of money in savings accounts, checking accounts. People have got, think of it like the tether dominance, right? When it rises, people are moving this into stable. So there's more money in the dollar for people to spend. So these banks, these financial institutions like the Fed, the in the UK, the Bank of England, or the European Central Bank, the ECB. There's loads of them, right? These guys start pumping money into the markets. And what happens when people have money, right? I'm actually just going to type this in. What is global M2 liquidity? So what happens when liquidity increases or decreases? So when it increases, what this is telling us is that because there's a lot of cash in hand, there's a lot of liquidity through various different things. Ultimately, people have money to spend on things. So they want to spend on property. They want to spend on gold. Oh, I've already made a 3% return on my investment. I'll go into something riskier. I'll go into crypto. Oh, Bitcoin made me 10%. Okay, now I'll go into something even riskier, such as altcoins. And altcoins always signal the end of a bull market. Always the end of a bull market. So, yeah, this is a better definition than I could ever give ChatGPT. So thank you for that. But ultimately, this is a working example. So more cash in hand, more money for people to spend in risk on assets. And the last risk on asset would be altcoins. Obviously, Bitcoin, for example, is a risk on asset as well. So, as it says there, rising M2 and falling M2. This is the basic definition and why we look for this and why we get really excited when, this happens, when there's a loosening, ultimately. So, what I'm about to show you is something so incredible and what helps me stay ahead of the curve amongst everyone else. So this is the global M2 liquidity chart, right? So as you saw, when it rises, there's loosening, there's more cash in the economy for people to spend, right? And what's been happening since January is that it's been increasing. And we've actually topped the previous high back in October. So this is signaling that we're going to hit a new all-time high. Well, CS, how do you know that? So if I put them back to back, right? If I put them back to back, as you saw there, right? This is how the global M2 liquidity chart just looks like on a like-for-like basis. So as you can see, global M2 liquidity goes up first, and then Bitcoin goes up first. Let's rewind. Actually, let's rewind. So look at this massive global M2 liquidity move. Right, it goes all the way up, and then it tops, and then Bitcoin comes down. M2 bottoms, Bitcoin bottoms. M2 goes up. M2 goes up to its high, Bitcoin goes up to its high, M2 bottoms, and then Bitcoin bottoms. See how it always goes behind M2. It's lagging. is lagging behind M2 liquidity. The Bitcoin chart always lags behind. So, well, what does that even mean? Well, let me put it into a better perspective for you. So this is a part where I found the secret sauce where you can find the exact timing, or roughly near the timing of the bottom of the market. So there's usually a lag of global M2 liquidity to hit the Bitcoin chart by around, I'd say 2 to 3 months. So let's say around 70 to 90 days. So remember, M2 liquidity moves quicker than what happens on the Bitcoin chart. So if there's a lag by 90 days, let's apply that and see how this looks. Look at this. If we apply a 90-day lag, roughly, this goes hand in hand that Bitcoin is 90 days behind. Look at that move, up and then down. Up and then down. Look, as I get closer, up. Look how it just sticks. And even that move, it sticks. Right? And then it comes down. Look at this, how it always sticks like that. So obviously, maybe 70 days, maybe 80 days might be like bang on with the chart. But I'm just giving you a rough show of what happens like for like when it just beams, that beams too. And obviously this is like last cycle. So if we start on this cycle from the bottom, it sticks with it. Look at that, it sticks with it. And if I zoom in, look at that, it'll stick with it if I zoom in. Obviously because there's a big wider gap, it doesn't look like it does. But if I zoom in, look how it sticks with it throughout the whole process. So, if we've got a 90-day lag, guess what, my friends? This is the bottom right here. And if I want to be a bit cheeky and I go on a line chart, look, I'm not a betting man, but that looks like that bottom there. This looks, you see that yellow bit where it moves up and then back down? That looks like this, up and then down. That's what this looks like to me. Like that blue line goes there. That blue line goes there. And that blue line is now there. And we've gone up, as we've seen yesterday, and we come back down today. We've gone up and we come back down today. Look what happens with global M2 liquidity after like this. We are literally, you know, when people are like, I'm shaking as their YouTube thumbnail. I'm going to put that as a thumbnail. Fuck it. I'm shaking because this is going to go absolute. If this follows where I think it will follow, I don't know 100% for sure, but if it follows where I think it will follow, this is going to go absolutely fucking ballistic. Crazy ballistic. We are going to see Bitcoin go to 120, 130, maybe 140. And look, it's even today still rising, the M2 liquidity. So if we calculate, if this happens like today, this will basically end around June, July time, something like that. So you're going to have 2 months of chaos, of just straight upward trajectory. Like once we get past 110K, around 120K, 130K is where you basically want to beam and take out your profits. If this is correct. Now, it has always been correct. Even through the Black Swan events prior to this. You got to remember what happened prior to this, Metgox. We had the German government selling Bitcoin. We had so many different Black Swan events throughout this whole cycle that many people won't even remember. But each time we've survived and we've come out the other side, and we've always got to check where the damn M2 liquidity is. If this was just going down, I'd be like, yeah, bear market. Because I can predict it in a couple of months' time that, yeah, M2 is already 90 days ahead of us. It's 3 months ahead of us. There's no capital injection in the economy. In the global economy, there's no capital injection. This is telling us, motherfuckers, This is telling us, if you're staying till the end of this video, this is why I'm so bullish and why I win when I win. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way. I'm just saying it that I follow the data that's in front of me. Never mind fear and greed being at extreme fear. There's so many flipping 5 gaps on the SPX and the Dow Jones. There's CME gaps above. There's all this. We're at the weekly 50 EMA. We're not even being able to clip past it. We stayed above it. We've hovered above it. We've got good demand there. There's so many different reasons I gave you in previous videos from a technical analysis perspective. This is a leading indicator. It's leading by telling you what happens in global economies. It doesn't get more simpler than that. And that's why, my friends, I feel like we are either at the bottom or near the bottom now. 72K, fair enough. If we go there, we go there. But that would be the absolute bottom, in my opinion. That'll be the absolute bottom, in my opinion. Maybe you have one more leg down. I don't know. But I do feel 72K is that number. It could go lower, but I'd be so surprised if we don't follow M2 liquidity, because M2 liquidity hits everything, not just like the tariffs that apply from America to other countries. Why are we only just doing one face value business, which is, yeah, America's got these tariffs. Well, what about China and India? What about Russia and, Saudi Arabia? What about Canada and the UK? There are other countries that have big economies. What about Japan? What about Switzerland? Like, people don't... This is what I love about Forex, that a lot of people, you can't teach this to people, which is the American economy is not... Sorry, the American market is not just the only market. Yes, it is the biggest market in the world. I have no doubt about that. And it does move a lot of other markets, without a doubt, because everything is pegged to the dollar, the Federal Reserve, blah, 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 all that. I agree. I'm not here to argue with anyone about it, but what I'm trying to say is that other emerging markets, other emerging economies are filtering through. Do you think Dubai, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, just became a global superpower and super sensation in the past 5 years? No, they were building from the 1990s, right? Same with Kuwait, which is like the strongest currency in the world. Bahrain, the second strongest currency in the world. Like, if you look up these things, people will not tell you this. And again, maybe I'm just giving more education than a lot of people don't know about. But when I'm looking at this and I'm seeing you're getting all the big boy spenders from Kuwait, from Bahrain, from Japan, from China. Never mind, us in the West, Americans and Brits and whatnot. This is telling us, hello, wake up. M2 liquidity is always followed. There's always been a lag and it's always worked out. Even when black swan events have happened, like COVID and shit like this, right? Even when COVID hit, M2 was going up. Guess what happened? It caught the fuck up. Boom. Boom. It didn't matter what happened. When M2 started rising, Bitcoin started rising eventually 2 to 3 months after. All right, guys, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed it. And you start longing. Now I'm only messing up financial advice. And catch you in the